What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA playoffs. Thursday, June 3rd. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NBA playoffs. Let's take a look at this 2-game slate. So at the point guard position, so of course, Damian Lillard, he's a great stud pick. He scored 88 fantasy points last game, but he did play 51 minutes. So I'm a little bit hesitant to go all in on Damian Lillard coming off of an 88-point fantasy game, playing 51 minutes. I think he's still a good stud pick, but just be a little cautious that it could be a letdown game. Now, if you want to save some salary at the point guard position, take a look at Cameron Payne from the Phoenix Suns playing the LA Lakers, who have a good defense overall and they're middle of the pack defending opposing point guards. Cameron Payne has scored 25, 29, and 36 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 18, 25, and 26 minutes. He's projected at 27 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $5,400 FanDuel salary, and he's the same price on DraftKings. So I like Cameron Payne here versus the LA Lakers. And another point guard that I like that's also pretty low salary, although I'd probably only play him on FanDuel, I like Facundo Campazzo from the Denver Nuggets playing the Portland Trailblazers, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Facundo Campazzo, now he only scored 6 fantasy points last game, played 21 minutes, but he scored 31 and 39 fantasy points in the 2 games before that, playing 26 and 32 minutes. He's projected at 27 fantasy points here tonight, and on FanDuel, that's 5.1 times value. He's $5,300 FanDuel salary, and he's $800 more on DraftKings. Now, Vegas thinks there's going to be 228 points scored in this game, so I like Facundo Campazzo on FanDuel here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I like Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns playing the LA Lakers, who have a good defense overall, and they're middle of the pack defending opposing shooting guards. Devin Booker has averaged 37.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 33% usage rate. He scored 48, 31, and 29 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 39, and 41 minutes. He's projected at 42 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5 times value. He's $8,400 FanDuel salary, and he's $200 less on DraftKings. So I like Devin Booker here versus the LA Lakers. Okay, another shooting guard that I like is CJ McCollum from the Portland Trailblazers playing the Denver Nuggets. CJ McCollum has averaged 37.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 27% usage rate. He scored 43, 36, and 39 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 50, 34, and 41 minutes. He's projected at 40.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's $8,000 FanDuel salary, and he's $400 less on DraftKings. So we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 228 points scored in this game. So Vegas thinks the Portland Trailblazers and the Denver Nuggets are going to score about 20 more points than the Phoenix Suns and the LA Lakers. So that leads me to believe we should play a couple extra players from this Portland-Denver game. So I like CJ McCollum here versus the Denver Nuggets. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Now guys, just as a quick note, we just released a free DFS contest on Draft Dashboard for MLB and NBA for DraftKings and FanDuel. There's over $500 available in the prize pool, and this is a totally free contest you can enter as a Draft Dashboard member. So make sure to click the link in the description of this video, give Draft Dashboard a try, and you can start playing in our free DFS contest and compete to win some money. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Kyle Kuzma from the LA Lakers playing the Phoenix Suns. Kyle Kuzma has averaged 24.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He scored 15, 17, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 22, 25, and 23 minutes. He's projected at 21.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $4,300 FanDuel salary, and he's $500 more on DraftKings. So I prefer that FanDuel price. Not sure if I would go there on DraftKings. I think I would just prefer playing a guy like Carmelo Anthony on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, I like Kyle Kuzma here versus the Phoenix Suns. Okay, another small forward that I like, and this guy has severely underperformed in the playoffs, and I think a breakout game is right around the corner. I think it's coming here tonight. I like LeBron James from the LA Lakers playing the Phoenix Suns. LeBron James has averaged 47.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He scored 38, 45, and 38 fantasy points in his last 3 games, playing 31, 37, and 37 minutes. He's projected at 48.8 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 52 fantasy points or more and get you 5 times value or more. He's $10,600 FanDuel salary, and he's $500 less on DraftKings. So I like LeBron James here versus the Phoenix Suns. And just a quick note, although Norman Powell had an awful game last game, only scored 19 fantasy points in 50 minutes, I do like his DraftKings price. He's $7,000 FanDuel salary, but he's $1,200 less on DraftKings. Projected at 32 fantasy points here tonight, so he's got some major upside on DraftKings, although I would stay away from him on FanDuel. So I like Norman Powell on DraftKings here versus the Denver Nuggets. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I like Robert Covington from the Portland Trailblazers playing the Denver Nuggets, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Robert Covington has averaged 25.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 12% usage rate. But he scored 38, 27, and 30 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 43, 35, and 38 minutes. So he's playing monster minutes, and he's projected at 29 fantasy points here tonight. On FanDuel, that's only 4.7 times value. He's $6,200 FanDuel salary, but he's $1,100 less on DraftKings. So I love that DraftKings price. So I like Robert Covington on DraftKings here versus the Denver Nuggets. So instead of playing Robert Covington on FanDuel, I would play Aaron Gordon on FanDuel, who's only $5,600 FanDuel salary, He's projected at 28 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5 times value. He's 300 less on DraftKings. He scored 32 fantasy points last game in 38 minutes. He's got a good matchup. The Portland Trailblazers give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. So I like Aaron Gordon on FanDuel here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, now for a value play. I like JaMychal Green from the Denver Nuggets playing the Portland Trailblazers, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. JaMychal Green, he's averaged 16.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 19 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. He scored 19, 23, and 14 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 19, 21, and 17 minutes. He's projected at 20 fantasy points here tonight, which I think is a totally reasonable projection, and that's 5.4 times value. He's only $3,700 FanDuel salary, and he's $400 less on DraftKings. So I like that price on both sites. It's a good matchup. So I like JaMychal Green here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, moving on to the center position. I'm just going to pay up at center. I like Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets playing the Portland Trailblazers, who have the 12th worst defense overall, and they're middle of the pack defending opposing centers. Nikola Jokic has averaged 54.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 30% usage rate. He scored 78, 26, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 46, 26, and 35 minutes. He's projected at 55 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's $10,800 FanDuel salary and 100 less on DraftKings. So I like Nikola Jokic here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Now, if you want to save a little bit of salary here at the center position, take a look at DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns playing the LA Lakers. DeAndre Ayton has averaged 33.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 31 minutes per game with an 18% usage rate. He scored 19, 43, and 40 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 27, 38, and 41 minutes. He's projected at 36.6 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 40 fantasy points or more and get you 5 times value or more. He pretty much did that in every game of the playoffs so far, except for the last game, which he only played 27 minutes. He's been playing 38, close to 40 minutes a game. So I like DeAndre Ayton here versus the LA Lakers. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video, or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.